Time and time again, every time I wanted to talk to a girl, I would become paralyzed with fear, never taking action on it, and missing my opportunity every single time. This went on until I was 19 years old, and it wasn't until then that I discovered one simple trick that allowed my fear to diminish and allowed me to start talking to girls with ease. See, up until this point, I always wanted to talk to girls, but all the things in my head would prevent me from doing it. I would start thinking about what I was gonna say, how the conversation would go, if I would get rejected right off the bat, and this prevented me from ever taking action and letting fear get the best of me. So also, I always wanted to be like the guys in the movies, like Ryan Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love, being able to be getting girls with ease, extremely confident in social situations, but I was the furthest thing from this. So it wasn't until I discovered this one simple trick that I was actually able to start going out there and talking to girls even when I felt nervous to do so. So let's dive right into it with the first trick, which is gonna be the introduction. So this is the most important thing, and I learned this actually from a movie called Spread with Ashton Kutcher, where he said there is no such thing as a perfect pickup line, and he just asked them their name. And that was something that deeply resonated with me, where I didn't feel like I wanted to ever do some pickup line that always felt cheesy. It felt like something that was not in alignment with my true self. And when I heard about him say that just asking what's their name is the only pickup line there is, I was like, I really resonated with that. And that was something I started giving a try. So I would just start going out there and asking girls what was their name. And then from here, it wasn't that difficult anymore. It was just like a normal conversation. It didn't have to be this complicated thing that, went into depth of like, oh, you gotta say this, you have to say that. No, it's just starting a normal conversation with a person like anyone else. And once I started doing this and it started working, it completely revolutionized everything for me. So then this takes us to the second tip, which is going to be just simply to having two pre-prepared questions beyond the what's your name. So from here, you don't have to be the funniest guy. You don't have to think of things on the bat. You can just have two preloaded questions. For example, mine are, where are you from? And do you go to work or do you go to school? And those are the two questions I ask. And it makes it so simple because now the whole idea with why it's so difficult to do the approach was because I didn't know what I was gonna say. I didn't know how the conversation was gonna go. But now you have your three things that you're gonna say. You're gonna ask their name. You're gonna ask two basic questions that are gonna allow them to get talking. And during this entire time, you're gonna gauge their level of reciprocation. So if they're interested, they're gonna obviously answer these questions. They're gonna be nice about it. They might even laugh even though there's nothing funny that you said. And they're gonna show a lot of eye contact, a lot of nonverbal communication interest in you. And this is gonna allow you to see if you wanna take this conversation somewhere, or if you just introduce yourself to someone and they're not really too interested, then you can always just exit the conversation and say, oh, well, it was nice to meet you, have a great day. And it's that simple. So now there's no pressure on the situation. See, that was the biggest thing for me, was I didn't know how I was gonna play things, all the little details of it. And now once it's so simplified where it's just ask three questions, see if they're interested. If they're interested, you have plenty of information to work off of in terms of like where they're from, if they're in work or school, to use some open-ended questions to keep the conversation going. And if not, you can just exit the conversation easily saying, have a nice day, it was a pleasure to meet you. So now it just comes down to courage. So with those steps in place, all you have to do now is take action on it. And you would be surprised how easy it is genuinely to get girls just by using these three simple things. It's just asking their name, where they're from, and if they go to work or if they go to school. It is that simple. So doing this has allowed me to get every single girl that I've been with in the last 3 years. Once I put together this system, now it all came down to just courage. And from here, it just comes down to you actually going out there, going in places where girls are, and going out and talking to them. So if you can physically just walk up to girls and go and speak to them, you are going to have success. It's inevitable, especially if you're a guy on your path, you're building your value as a man, you're doing things to improve. It's gonna be very easy for you to get girls once you just put yourself out there. See, one of the biggest misconceptions I had was that you had to, honestly don't know. I just thought there was so much more to it than just a simple conversation. And yet now, years later, that is all I've been doing my entire time. That's what my game comes down to. My game is nothing more than just starting a simple conversation with girls and seeing who's interested and then taking it from there and getting with a bunch of them. It's really been that simple. There's not been anything more to it than just having a simple conversation, and starting it off like that has been the easiest way for me to do this over the long term. See, you don't need to go in with any crazy compliments. I think that's gonna deter your game, honestly. You don't have to do anything out of the ordinary. You just have to be a normal person. And when you can just show that you're a normal person, you are a fun guy to be around, no matter what situation you're in, this is gonna work every single time. So whether you're at the bar or club, whether you're at the gym, whether you're at some event. I was at an ice bath event recently where everyone just gets around for an ice bath, and it gets everyone together, people who are all like-minded. And when I was there, it's the same exact intro. And this is something I even use with guys. It's not even like a girl-specific thing. This is just how you can start conversations so easy. It's just asking someone their name. That's one of the easiest ways to start a conversation. So even taking it away from girls for a second, if you're someone who's socially anxious, just asking anyone what their name is gonna be one of the easiest ways to start a conversation. And then you can just ask them like the normal questions, like, where are you from? What are you doing? Do you go to work? Or are you in school? What is the what's their situation like? This is the normal questions you would probably ask a guy, right? If you're trying to make a friend. Why is it gonna be any different when you're trying to talk to a girl? See, thinking that you need to have something crazy going on is what's messing you up this whole time, which is what was messing me up. When you just start treating girls like normal people like they are, you're gonna start having so much more success. When you go into the mindset of trying to make a friend, you wouldn't overthink the process. You would just go in there and you would just try and talk to them like they're a normal guy, like you want to get to know them a little bit, and if they're cool, you'll try and be friends with them, you'll try and get their information, and you'll try and hang out with them in the future. It's the same exact thing with girls. Once you can break that process down where you realize that getting girls is nothing different than making a new friend, and that all it comes down to is just having a simple conversation, seeing if you two like each other, if there's some level of reciprocation, and if so, you take it from there. See, now the most important part to this whole process is the courage. If you're not putting yourself out there, you're never gonna see any results. See, that's the biggest thing, is that you might get these slight little rejections, but they're rejections for someone just trying to get to know you. Like, it's not a big deal. If you try and get to know someone and they don't want to get to know you, who cares? You just leave the conversation, go talk to someone else. There's been times when I've gotten rejected time and time again, but it's usually a situation that they're in. It's not something that's a reflection upon you. They might have a boyfriend, they might be in a situationship, they might have a terrible night if they're at the club or whatever. That's where I talk to a lot of the girls I meet. You never know their situation, so you can't let that be a reflection on you. That's just a reflection of them. And the only thing that you should take into consideration as a win is the courage that you displayed. Because if you display enough courage on a long enough time frame, you're gonna have all the results with girls that you want. And that's really what it comes down to. So you need to start redefining the way you calculate a win and a success in your eyes, which should just be going out there and talking to girls. So if you physically went and did the cold approach, talked to a girl, and used the trick that I showed you, just having 3 simple questions, not overcomplicating it, just treating them like a person and seeing how the conversation goes, that is a win, no matter what the situation was. Whether they, right off the bat, when you ask their name, say, I have a boyfriend, that happens to me all the time. Cool, you won because you went out of your way to do this, you displayed courage, and that is the win. It's not actually talking to the girl or sleeping with her or any of these things, but it's the thing that you do internally, knowing that you are who you say you are, that you can go and talk to anybody, that you're just a courageous person as a whole. That should be the win, not getting the girl. That's gonna come as a result, and the more courageous you are, the more bravery you display on a consistent basis, girls are gonna see this. You're gonna start becoming such a cooler person that they're all just gonna wanna be with you anyway. So that's all what it comes down to, is just gonna be having some preloaded things, because even I now, after having talked to so many girls, if you said, don't use that and think of something on the fly, I would probably hesitate. So getting rid of that hesitation of not knowing what to say and just kind of going out there and starting, because once you start, it's so much easier to continue, eliminates 99% of the fear. Now you just have to display that 1% of courage to actually go and start the conversation and see where it goes from there. And every single time you're gonna build your confidence little by little until you're never scared to talk to anyone anymore. and you can talk to any girl, any guy, no matter how pretty the girl is. It doesn't matter, you can talk to her. So that's what the ultimate goal is. And the best way to do this is, like I was saying, counting your wins by your physical attempts and not trying to make it like you need this to succeed, placing too much importance on any one conversation. By just simply going out there and always talking to so many people, girls, also talking to guys, older people, anyone. This is gonna build your social skills, which is gonna translate over to getting girls as well. So that's pretty much all it comes down to. Having those three preloaded things that you're gonna say, and then just displaying courage from there. If you can do that, you're gonna get over the nervousness that held me back for so long as a kid, that didn't allow me to ever have any success with girls. And now, boom, just like a flip of a switch, start getting girls with ease, all because I took out the factors that were leading to the nervousness and held me back from actually just getting started. So if you wanna have that success as well, just do the simple trick and you're gonna have more success than you can ever imagine. So that is all for this video. If you enjoyed this, on this channel, I'm gonna be teaching you how to life max, so get better in every single aspect of your life. This is gonna help you get girls tenfold if you are life maxing. So if that's of interest, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I also offer a free 30-minute coaching call. So if you want to improve your life in any way, shape, or form that you see on this channel, what we're gonna do on there is we're gonna dive into your current situation. We're gonna figure out your dream life and give you actionable steps in order to achieve that. So if that's of interest, book down below with the Calendly link, and I'll see you on there. Have a great day, everyone, and see you on the next video.